What? 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 What a day. What a day. Round of 32 have officially taken off since Sunday. But we're going to dive into this match day 3 to summarize the third game of the group stage so far. But for those that don't know, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer, football honestly. And we're going to dive right into this Group a Group A that is already solidified. We are just summarizing again this match day 3 of the group stage, the third match of the group stage, and we're just gonna go over the group, who qualified first, second, and third, and the best game of this match, anything that happened during that match. But we're going to dive into this match day 3 of the World Cup and the last game of the group stage. Starting with Group A, we have Mexico that qualified with 9 points and had a positive 6 goal difference. South Africa as the second with 4 points and a negative 1 goal difference, while South Korea stayed with 3 points and a negative 1 goal difference, and Czechia with 1 point and a negative 4 goal difference. South Korea and Czechia did not go through at all. But one of the games that stand out, the game that stands out in this Group A is the Mexico against Czech Republic. Mexico locked up a flawless group stage by comfortably just defeating Czech Republic, and they had an electric crowd in Mexico City Stadium. Again, something that Mexico has been able to work off is the energy that these fans are giving them and how the stadiums are getting packed and how the people are showing up for Mexico to make sure to make it count, so Mexico is able to push through all these stages and as far as they can get. But the young defender Mateo Chavez opened the scoring in the 54th minute, followed by a strike from Julian Quiñones to just seal the victory. The dominant display ensured El Tri to advance in the round to 32 at the top of the group with a perfect 9 points. But this Group A delivered a high drama regarding the quarter line, advancing the third place teams, exposing the brutal math in the 48-team format. Co-host Mexico cruised to the perfect 9 points, leaving South Africa and South Korea to battle for survival. Technically, South Africa managed a disciplined 1-0 victory over South Korea on the final match. While South Africa just advanced automatically, South Korea was left stranded in the third place with 3 points and a negative 1 goal difference. They endured days of agonizing scoreboard watching, only to finish as the 10th ranked third place team, just missing out on the top 8 wildcard slots, and sparking immediate national heartbreak in the resignation of their head coach. But a South Korea that their prime minister has questioned what have they done for it not to work when it has been years of preparation. South Korea already is asking itself, what is going on with our football federation that we prepared and it did not take off. Then we have Group B. In Group B, we have Switzerland that takes the group with 7 points and a plus 4 goal difference. Then Canada with 4 points and a positive 5 goal difference. Then we have Bosnia in the third place with 4 points and a negative 1 goal difference, and Qatar as the last of Group B with 1 point and a negative 8 goal difference. Switzerland and Canada qualified. Bosnia is the best third, and they go through in this group. They are one of the best third place, one of the best 8 third place that qualifies. But in this group, Switzerland against Canada is the match that stands out in Group B. A match that you had a outlasting Canada and a high competitive 2-1 victory for Switzerland in Vancouver. Early goals from Ruben Vargas and Johan Mazambi put the Swiss in control before Promise David just clawed one back for the Canadians. Despite the narrow defeat, the Canadians safely advanced the knockout rounds in second place with 4 points in the tournament best positive 5 goal difference. Then we have Group C. Group C has given us Brazil with 7 points and a positive 6 goal difference, Morocco with 7 points and a positive 3 goal difference, Scotland with 3 points and a negative 3 goal difference, and Haiti in fourth place with 0 points and a negative 6 goal difference. Brazil qualifies, Morocco qualifies to the next round, Scotland sadly did not qualify as the third place. But in this game, in this group, the game that stands out is Morocco. A Morocco that played against a Haiti, a game that went to a 4-2. A Morocco that secured their automatic ticket to knockouts by outlasting a fearless Haiti squad in entertaining 4-2 scoreboard fest at the Atlanta Stadium. Archaf Hakimi and Ismail Saberi just gave the Atlas Lions a first half cushion before surviving a spirited second half response from Caribbean side. The high scoring victory comfortably just positioned Morocco in second place, finishing level on 7 points with the group leaders Brazil that take it by the goal difference. Then we have Group D. Group D, we have the United States as the first place with 6 points and a positive 4 goal difference. Then we have Australia second place with 4 points and a 0 goal difference. Paraguay third place with 4 points and a negative 2 goal difference. And Turkey in fourth place with 3 points and a negative 2 goal difference. USA and Australia go through. Paraguay is one of the best 8 third place nations to go through. The match that stands out in this group is Turkey against the United States, a match that ends 3-2. Turkey pulled off one of the most dramatic spectacles of the tournament by just stunning the United States 3-2 in a chaotic thriller in Los Angeles Stadium, a game that was won in the last minute of complementary time. Despite conceding an early goal, Austin Trusty, the Turkish team, fought back and clinched the win via an incredible 97th minute from Kaan Ayhan. The wild victory earned Turkey a vital 3 points through the U.S., but the U.S. has still managed to progress as the group winners with 6 points and a positive 4 goal difference. But this Group D became a massive debate hub for the fans and reporters, just analyzing the tournament head-to-head rule because the United States had already locked up the group's pole position via previous head-to-head results. Their chaotic 3-2 loss against Turkey, featuring dramatic 97th minute winner by Kaan Ayhan. This didn't alter their top seeding because the critics argue that the rule killed the excitement for the group leader. Meanwhile, Australia and Paraguay played out a highly tactical 0-0 draw, knowing a tie gave both of them an incredible high mathematical probability of just advancing into the round of 32 together. Reigning historical debates just regarding low risk, mutually beneficial result in match day 3 of this group stage in this Group D. But then we move on to Group E. We move on to Group E, a Group E that sees Germany with 6 points and a positive 6 goal difference. Second place, Ivory Coast with 6 points and a positive 2 goal difference. Third place, Ecuador with 4 points and a 0 goal difference. And Curacao with 1 point and a negative 8 goal difference. Germany and Ivory Coast go through. And then Ecuador qualifies as one of the best 8 third place. And the match that stands out in this Group E is a Germany against Ecuador, a match that Ecuador wins 2-1. This is the appetite for an upset. Germany's just surprisingly lack defensive urgency and raw hunger of an underdog. And having already performed well in their opening matches, Germany just stepped onto the pitch heavily favored but looked completely overwhelmed by Ecuador's aggressiveness. High pressing transition game. Nissan Angulo struck early and Gonzalo Plata scored a historic 76th minute winner to seal the 2-1 upset for South Americans. In the mix zone, the German captain Joshua Kimmich, openly frustrated, admitted that they gave the ball way too easily, while teammate Jamal Musiala noted that Ecuador simply wanted it more. The match became a case of studying how dangerous high motivated underdogs are when European giants take their foot off the gas. But yes, it did feel like that. It did feel like Germany threw themselves back. It felt like Ecuador wanted to fight the game more. Was there something to lose for Germany? In reality, if they lost by 1 or 2 goals, no, because they were already going through. They were already going through in this group. So in reality, there was nothing to lose. There was only pride of not losing by too many goals. That's how I look at it. Germany did not want to risk. They let Ecuador and their aggressiveness take the ball and be on the ball more than they were. Was Germany in need? Again, no. Who needed it more was Ecuador. It felt like Germany said, okay, we're going to play. We are going to let you play. We will try to do a few things. We're not going to do much. Whatever you do, okay, fine if you score, but we're not going to lose for more than this. We're just going to let you do your thing. That's how I felt. Maybe it wasn't Germany's idea to approach the game like this, but this Ecuador takes the slightest win by 1 goal in a game that, yes, Ecuador was more protagonist and they had more of a positive outcome in it because they were making themselves relevant. But in this game, Germany did not show the urgency to win. Ecuador went and took it all with aggressiveness, and they ended up getting the 2-1 win to qualify as one of the best third place. Again, only the 8 best third place go through the round of 32. But then we move on to Group F. A Group F that Netherlands took the first spot with 7 points in a positive 6-goal difference. Japan takes 5 points with a positive 4-goal difference. Sweden 4 points in third place with a 0-goal difference, and Tunisia with 0 points and a negative 10-goal difference. Netherlands, Japan go through. Sweden takes one of the best 8 third place in this World Cup. The match that stands out in this Group F is the Netherlands against Tunisia, a game where Netherlands secured the top spot with a convincing 3-1 victory over Tunisia in Kansas City. The Dutch team just established a rapid 2-goal lead early in the first half, courtesy of Elias Shirky own goal and clinical strike from Brian Brobbery. Although Hassan Mastouri pulled the one back for Tunisia in the 54th minute header, Jan-Paul Van Hake just quickly responded with a header on his own to seal just to seal the win and eliminate Tunisia from the tournament. The 2-1 was comfortable, yes, but the 3-1 just sealed the whole deal for Netherlands and leaving Tunisia out of this World Cup. But then we move on to Group G. A Group G that Belgium takes the first place with 5 points and a plus 4-goal difference. Egypt takes second place with 5 points and a plus 2-goal difference. Iran takes third place with 3 points and 0-goal difference, and New Zealand as the last with 1 point and negative 6-goal difference. Belgium and Egypt go through, and there is not best third place in this group. The match that stood out in this Group G is Egypt against Iran. A Mohamed Saber that gave Egypt a dream start with an opening goal in the 5th minute, but Iran quickly responded as Ramin Razain swept home the equalizer shortly after Mehdi Taremi missed a penalty. The match culminated in dramatic fashion with potential 93-minute winner by Iran's Sosha Khalizadeh was disallowed for offside after a video review, leaving Egypt to claim second place in Group G. Only Belgium and Egypt went through in this Group G. Then we have Group H. In this Group H, we have Spain as the first place with 7 points and a positive 5-goal difference. Cabo Verde as the second place with 3 points and a 0-goal difference. Uruguay with 2 points and a negative 1-goal difference, and Saudi Arabia with 2 points and a negative 4-goal difference. In this Group H, Spain and Cabo Verde go through. There is no best third place in this group. But the match that stood out is the Spain against Uruguay, a match that was hardly fought on a 1-0 victory for Spain over Uruguay to cement their control in Group H during their match 3 encounter. A strike from Baena broke the deadlock, slicing through the compact and physical Uruguayan defense, and a goalkeeper that had a poor World Cup. Muslera had a poor World Cup full of mistakes. This Uruguay was really frustrated. Uruguay pushed aggressively for a late equalizer, but Spain's disciplined possession game and just starved Uruguay of the ball in the final minutes to lock down the clean sheets and all 3 points. This Spain's Uruguay was the hot temper meltdown, physical, borderline hostile tactical battles, and the end of a managerial era for Marcelo Bielsa. Uruguay entered Matchday 3, desperately needing a result against European champions Spain to keep their tournament hopes just alive, and amidst the heavily rumors of the tactical rift between the squad and the manager, Marcelo Bielsa, the match quickly devolved into a physical hot temper war attribution by American referee Ismael El Five, featuring intense off the ball feuds such as Marco Corella body rocking, Agustin Conobio, or back and forth with these two players. Spain also ultimately just won 1-0 after capitalizing on a costly mistake from Muslera, a goalkeeper that has been many years representing this Uruguay, but there has been small mistakes in his game that have caused Uruguay big, big time. And not to throw any shade at the player, not to wish nothing upon him, but I do believe this Muslera will no longer be called to this Uruguayan team. This year, mistakes from Muslera cost Uruguay big, big time. And these mistakes just dump Uruguay completely out of the tournament and just sparks massive post-match talking points. We're talking about it right here. And Bielsa is most likely to, if not leaving this team, he will be let go from this team and this Uruguayan Federation. A manager that has history, a manager that when he speaks, he sounds very, very wise as a philosopher of football. But for those that watch the post match interviews, Bielsa is very upset he's not able to leave anything of his legacy with Uruguay. And after being under Uruguay for 2-3 World Cups now, this Uruguay sees no progress moving forward, and their national team project is on a moment of rebuild or just maintenance at the moment. Boy, Uruguay, that is a huge nation, has competed at the highest level, goes home early, and it's really, really upsetting because Uruguay breathes and lives football. But then we move on to Group I. In Group I, we have France first spot that has nine points and a positive 8 goal difference. Then Norway with 6 points with a positive 1 goal difference. Senegal with 3 points and a positive 2 goal difference. And Iraq with 0 points and a negative 11 goal difference. France and Norway go through. Senegal qualifies as one of the best third places in the tournament. The match that stands out is France against Norway, a match that Ousmane Dembele netted a spectacular first half hat trick to dismantle Norway just 4-1. The brilliant offensive display ensured Les Blues cruise into the next round with a perfect 9 points and a stellar plus 8 goal difference. Norway held onto a second automatic qualification slot with 6 points despite the heavy defeat against France. But this Norway is said to be one of the dark horses, a very, very, very offensive team that does have a great attack. Defensively, yes, there is some questions to ask, but for now, Norway enjoys going into the round of 32 and is going to be competing. Then we move on to Group J. We have Argentina with 9 points and a positive 7 goal difference. Austria in the second spot with 4 points and a 0 goal difference. Algeria with 4 points and a negative 2 goal difference. And Jordan with 0 points and a negative 5 goal difference. We have Argentina and Austria that go through, and Algeria qualifies as one of the best third place in this group. Well, the matches that stands out in this specific group is technically both matches. Why? But we're gonna get to this. This group had a pinnacle on match day 3. Drama took place in Kansas City during the finale between Algeria and Austria. Under the expanded tournament rules, a draw would have safely sent both teams through to the round of 32. Instead, the match devolved into a chaotic, high-scoring thriller. You have, in the 93rd minute, you have Raya Mahrez, who scores and puts Algeria's 3-2. A goal seemingly punched Algeria's ticket and simultaneously knocked Austria into the vulnerable third-place spot. The late goal sparked immediate chaos elsewhere, as the live updating table briefly meant Iran, sitting on 3 points in Group G, was set to advance on wildcard tiebreakers. However, in the 96th minute, Austria Sasa Kalasic turned home a dramatic equalizer to end the game in a 3-3. The late goal rescued Austria's automatic qualification, saved the World Cup, and instantly broke Iranians' hearts by eliminating Iran from the tournament. But for those that watch this Austria-Algeria game, we see a Mahrez that scores a goal. One of his teammates starts getting mad at him and telling him, "Why you do that? Why you do that? There was no need. We were fine as we were." So what Algeria did was throw themselves back in the last few minutes, and that's how Austria scores. The game's ties. That means Algeria gets an easier opponent in the round of 32. That's the reality of this Group G. But then we move on to Group K. In Group K, we have Colombia, who took the top of this group as the first place with 7 points and +3 goal difference. Then Portugal second place with 5 points and a +5 goal difference. Then Congo with 4 points and a +1 goal difference. And Uzbekistan with 0 points and a -9 goal difference. We have Colombia and Portugal that go through in this group. And as the third best place, we have Congo, who qualified as the best third place again. But the match that stands out in this specific group is Colombia against Portugal. Colombia displayed an excellent resilience to grind out a competitive result against Portugal, a match that ended 0-0, finishing their group stage campaign undefeated at the summit. Portugal relied heavily on their attacking depth to trade blows with high-quality encounters that secured their progress. But in reality, Colombia was way more effective. They stood out more. They had this Portugal, their back against the wall constantly in this one match. But both powerhouse nations moved forward safely, solidifying their standing among the tournament's top championship contesters. The offside killed the game, but this is why the rule applies right away. No revision, nothing to do with human error. Everything is down to the automated system. And yes, it's centimeters, but no human error was applied on this occasion. So people will still find a way to complain. Yes, it's a little bit sour on savor because it takes that away from the game. A game where Colombia did have better attack, where Colombia exposed Portugal and how effective Portugal really could have been. But it's either an automated system that gets down to the nitty gritty or a human error that, yes, it could be an error, or a system that can be perfect and still people will find a unsatisfaction on this because, yes, at the end of the day, if a call is against you, that's when you are going to feel that you have been done wrong the most. But Colombia showed that they are able to compete against a big European nation and a Colombia that personally I do believe they're only missing a natural 9 that has the aggressiveness for the goal because they have great wings. As we know, Luis Diaz moves the ball really well. Colombia moves the ball with their defense really well, covers space, plays defensively well projected. But when playing forward, they do need a natural 9 that has aggressiveness on the ball to make sure that they take the goals they need. But then we lastly get to this Group L. A Group L that has England at the top of the group. Group L that has England at the top of the group. And then we have Croatia with 6 points. Then we have Ghana with 4 points and Panama with 0 points. England has 7 points with a +4 goal difference. Croatia 6 points with a 0 goal difference. Ghana 4 points with a 0 goal difference. And Panama 0 points with a -4 goal difference. England and Croatia go through, and Ghana goes through as one of the best third place in this World Cup of 48 teams. But the game that stands out in this group is Croatia against Ghana, a game where Croatia secured second place in Group L with a hard-fought 2-1 over Ghana in Philadelphia. Peter Sucic just opened the scoring for Croatia in the 31st minute with a spectacular 30-yard strike before Derek Lucansen bundled home a deserved equalizer for Ghana. Following a lengthy VAR review on the second half, Nikola Vlasic ultimately just sealed the win for Croatia's side by hitting home an outstanding Luka Modric corner in the 83rd minute, though both nations successfully advanced to the round of 32. But that's it for this group. We're gonna now give a list of the best 8 in third place from all the 12 groups, and we're gonna give them from the best first third place. Firstly, we have Congo. Second, we have Sweden. Ghana, we have third. Fourth, we have Ecuador. Fifth, we have Bosnia. Sixth, we have Algeria. Seventh, we have Paraguay. And eighth, we have Senegal. Those are the 8 best third place teams in this World Cup that went through. But then after that, we know that we have some things that we have seen in this World Cup, such thing as some elite benchmarks. Nations like Spain and Mexico, they enter the knockouts as the benchmark for defensive stability, both advancing through the group stage with 0 goals against. And Spain has a positive 5-goal difference and absolute control of their matches. Just set the tactical standard. Even though Spain tied their first game 0-0, Spain did not get any goals against, but they end up actually going through and they end up getting a positive 5-goal difference. But then you also have vulnerable giants in this World Cup. As we know, we have vulnerable giants like Germany and Netherlands that, yes, they showed an elite firepower by scoring 10 goals each, but they also exposed massive defensive vulnerabilities by conceding 4 goals each in just 3 matches. And the round of 32 will expose whether these heavyweights can fix their transition defense when a single mistake means elimination. This is what this round of 32 is going to expose. This round of 32 will expose part of that vulnerability from the big elites, and at the same time, these big elites that have benchmarks of being defensively stable. So for those that were stable in the group stage, we will see if they are able to be stable in the knockout rounds. And for those that were vulnerable, even though they won their groups at the highest they could, and for those that were vulnerable and won their group at the highest they could, they will be put in a judgment of how vulnerable are you against a team that was also able to make it all the way to this round, and so goes on. But some nations do have stability, others don't have much stability, but they have a defensive firepower that keeps them afloat. With those nations that don't have that much firepower, and for those nations that do have more a defensive stability, how can they balance in this round of 32 that will expose all of those teams, whether they are strong in their defense or they are only strong in their attack? But another thing that will be exposed in this round of 32 is the squad depth and rigors of expansion. With the tournament expanded to 48 teams, the road to the final now requires a surviving extra knockout round. The round of 32 exposes which teams heavily rely on their starting 11 versus those with genuine tournament winding depth, and that will matter a lot because there is an extra game, yes, but if that extra game goes to overtime, things can get a little bit more wearing on the physical aspect of the players. But heavy rotation will matter. Teams like France with an A plus goal difference, teams like Argentina with a positive 7-goal difference dominate their groups efficiently, allowing them to rotate squads, manage minutes, and limit yellow card accumulations too. Even though every next round, yellows and reds, they they do get reset, so that doesn't really become a topic of conversation until, you know, only when you were in the group stage in reality. But the fatigue factor is going to become another thing. The underdogs and mid-tier teams that had to fight you into the final seconds of match day 3 to secure qualification will be exposed physically because they had their players, their starting 11 on the field fighting for the last few points they could get. But facing elite squads that manage to rest key assets late in the group phase creates a stacked physical disparity in this round of 32. And then another thing that will be exposed in this round of 32 is the ability to break down low blocks. We've seen a lot of these small nations that are coming on and making their mark on this World Cup with 48 teams. We understand, for those that watch this game a lot, is that a lot of these small nations play a low block. But these big teams, or teams that know how to play, nations that know how to play ball and move ball, they will be the ones showing if they have the ability to break down the low blocks. The group stage proved that the gap between global giants and emerging nations is narrowing defensively, a trend that will manifest heavily in the round of 32. The draw is a trend. A staggering 27.8% of all group stage matches ended in a draw. We're talking about 20 out of 72 games. Underdogs have found immense succeeding sitting in a disciplined defensive shape and playing for extra time or penalty shootouts. These teams are constantly stuck on defending well, covering the spaces, making sure there's no lapse between lines when the offensive team wants to do such thing. They hit on the counters. They try to go for the extra time. They're gonna try to go to the penalties, sometimes even set pieces. But this also brings the topic of tactical patience. Heavy favorites will be exposed if they lack the tactical variation or individual brilliance required to unlock rigid defensive lines. The efficiency of odds on favorites grew tighter as the tournament progressed, of course, going from 14 to 3 on match day 3, providing that top tier teams are figuring out how to break down stubborn opponents when the pressure is maximized. We're going to see that against, and we have seen that already for those matches that already took place for the round of 32 that has started Sunday. But we're going to go into this round of 32. And of course, as we know, we already had this 4 matches. We had Canada, South Africa. Canada went through, winning 1-0. Then we had Brazil against Japan. Brazil won 2-1. Then we had Germany against Paraguay. Paraguay won on penalties. And then we're going to have Netherlands against Morocco, Norway against Ivory Coast against Norway, France against Sweden, Mexico against Ecuador, England against Congo, Belgium against Senegal, United States against Bosnia, Spain against Austria, Portugal against Croatia, Switzerland against Algeria, Australia against Egypt, Argentina against Cape Verde, and Colombia against Ghana. Those will be the matches that will be played in the round of 32. Group stage, and we are on to the round of 32. And like Patrice Evra says, I love this game. The underdogs are stepping at the moment. A surprise has been dropped. Germany has gone home. But for those that don't know, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer, football, honestly, and that's all for today. If you like the content and you don't want to miss this World Cup, please hit the like and follow button. Thank you all. Have a good one.